Hello students, myself Pravinian from Department of Computer Science Applications and Animations. So our syllabus for this semester includes these units. In first unit we will take the introduction of operating system. Here we will study the definition of operating system, oh, various views of the operating system. See, because operating systems are useful or they are used in user's perspective and a system's perspective. How an operating system is viewed in terms of a user and how in terms of system. That means how it uses the hardware components of the computer. And see, in a user view, it is just the user interface, how it deals with the user, etc. We will study that. Then before going in details of the system, we will just see a glance of the system organization and system architecture, which is very important to design an operating system. Because see, we are going to develop the operating system for a computer hardware, so you need to know about the processor architecture and how exactly hardware of the computer works, what are the various components of the hardware components of the computers, how they are interconnected, etc. We need to know these things, so we will take a glance on that, so that we will do in the first unit of our syllabus, system architecture. Okay, then we will study the operating system structure, which tells us how the various units of the operating systems are divided, how it is structurized, and what are the operations which we do in operating system. Okay, operating system operations. There are some special purpose systems, how they are exactly designed, and what are their uses. See, operating systems for the special purpose systems, they are different from the general purpose operating systems. So there is a bit difference. We will study what are the types of operating systems used there, and see by looking at this, we will understand why we have so many types of operating systems in the world. Okay, so we will study that. And the computing environment that I told, different computing environments. Same system, we can install different operating systems, right? The Linux operating system, Mac OS operating system, even Linux also we have variety of OSs, like Ubuntu is there, GNU Linux is there, SUSE Linux is there. There are many, right? So we will see why these environments are there, and what is the use, how they are different, etc. Operating system services, various services provided by the operating system. Say like system calls we speak about. We will not study much about system calls in our syllabus, but it is a very important thing. We will just glance through that. What are the various services provided by the operating system? See, it is because I told hardware management, it is always done by the operating system. So when you are developing any application software, if that application software want to take the input from an input device or give the output to an output device, it must interact with the operating system. So operating system provides a list of services, or we call it as application programming interfaces, and these APIs are utilized by the application softwares. Okay, how these, what are the various application programming interfaces are available and how they are exactly designed. See, we call them as system calls. System calls are operating system services provided by the OS, and which can be used by any of the programming language to develop application softwares. Okay, we will study that. There is in our syllabus we don't have detailed detailed description about these things, because see, you can study if you are interested towards that. And it depends on the programming languages again. See, normally we use C program application software interfaces are given in this textbook, but our syllabus will not cover much about it. Okay, next User operating system interface. See, what are the various types of interfaces provided by the operating systems? Different operating system provides different types of interfaces. For example, the handheld device operating systems like Android or Mac OS. It uh, There we have a touch sensitive display which takes the input using the touch senses, and in some operating systems like Windows we have graphical user interfaces. We use mouse and display buttons. We will drag the mouse, like we will use input, we'll give the input using the keyboard, etc. And in some other operating systems we have command line interfaces. We will study that in this section. User interfaces, different types of user interfaces. Okay, next we will learn about process. See, process, it is nothing but any program which executes on the computer. Operating system contains a list of process. We will study what is process, overview of the process, what are the things we require to execute a program in a operating system. Because I told operating system is an environment where we will execute different types of applications on it, and each application contains the number of processes. Okay, one application can contain hundreds of processes inside it, not even hundreds, sometimes even thousands. Okay, that depends on the size of the application. So how operating system provides a way to execute these processes, that we will study here. Okay, with overview of the process, we will study what is process and how exactly it is handled in an operating system. Next, cooperating process. Okay, that is the important thing. See, because communication between the process is important. When you have a single application with multiple processes. So one process may handle taking the input and other process may handle giving the output to the output device. But there should be communication between these processes. Process synchronization is a must, because unless you take the input, it cannot do processing and give the output. So that is one of the purpose of a computer, right? It takes some input from the user and processes it and gives the output to the user, right? So, but there must be some synchronization. See, if you are writing a program to add two numbers, first two numbers must be taken, right? You see, each can execute in parallel, but unless you read the input, it cannot add them, right? So that adding process must wait until input is read from the keyboard. Okay, so this synchronization, how it is established between the process, that we will study in cooperating process. Then we have another concept called thread. Thread you studied in Java, uh, isn't it? You studied, I think. Okay, threads, they are called as lightweight process. Each process we call it as a single threaded process. But using threads, you can divide one process into multiple threads so that each piece of the process can execute in parallel with the other. Okay, we will learn that how exactly we can make multiple threads of a single process. Okay, what is thread, definition of the thread, etc. Next, what are the different multi-threading models we have? Okay, we will study here. There are many models. Okay, one to many, one to one, etc. We will learn that how exactly it is useful to design the operating system. Okay, that is in unit 1.
Thank you,
Thank you,
students.
students.